of God. From up there, perched on stardust, gazing down at an earth no bigger than a tiny speck, she came to the same conclusion she had reached that day at precisely 2:35 p.m. It's not worth it. Life isn't what she had thought. Life is precisely that which she and others were prodigiously killing. The moment itself. A moment carrying in its womb the past and future, just like lines on the palm of one's hand, in the leaf of a tree, or in her husband Hushang's eyes. Around 5 o'clock the next morning, Dad, Beta, and I woke up in the thick morning fog to see the last foxes returning to their dens after hunting Razan's chickens and roosters, and to feel the wings of the hoopoe just inches away. Mom had once again returned to the highest bough from her peregrinations and passage of the planets and cities, villages, islands, and tribes, in time to hear the song of thousands and thousands of sparrows, and to see a hedgehog curl up and roll down the forest slope because Dad had moved. We all took our places at the same time, us around the fire, Mum up in the tree, Sorab in the pit alongside hundreds of other corpses. After all, the executioners were so overwhelmed by the mass executions, they had been unable to bury the bodies in time as planned. But they had been the lucky ones. In the following days, the number of people executed increased so much that corpses piled high in the prison backyard and began to stink. And Evan's ants, flies, crows, and cats, who hadn't had such a feast since the prison was built, licked, sucked, and picked at them greedily. Juvenile political prisoners were given the good fortune to be pardoned by the imam if they fired the final shot that would put the condemned out of their misery. With bruised faces, trembling hands, and pants soaked with urine, hundreds of 13 and 14-year-olds, whose only crime had been participating in a party meeting, reading banned pamphlets, or distributing flyers in the street, fired the last shot into faces that were sometimes still watching them with twitching pupils. It was mayhem, and the executioners were so overwhelmed by the stench of loathsome death that filled the hall that they would go sporadically mad and be transferred directly to a military asylum, only to vanish or be killed months later. From July 29, 1988, when the first series of executions of the People's Mujahideen and communist prisoners began, until mid-September of the same year, when more than 5,000 people in Tehran, Karaj, and other cities were hanged or shot by firing squad. Only 3 provincial soldiers disobeyed firing orders. Their bodies, along with those executed, became eternal hosts to 3 lead bullets. Midway through the second month, of the dozens of refrigerator lorry drivers whose job had been to haul bodies to the remote desert outside the city, 4 also ended up in the asylum. The stench of putrefied bodies had so clogged their nostrils, they thought it emanated from them wherever they went, and gave them away. They suspected their wives could smell it, too, but didn't let on, out of pity or fear. They were frightened of the apprehensive looks they received when standing in the long line for food ration coupons, bread, or pasteurized milk. One of them thought the black crows gathering in ever greater numbers around the corpse-filled trenches were stalking him. He thought the stench of his own body had brought the crows to break him, now sitting on house walls, perched on the power poles, and flying above the city. In the smaller cities, 2 members of a firing squad, whose job had been to execute political prisoners in the desert outside the city, were shot in the back as they ran away from their duties. Meanwhile, due to their excellence in carrying out duties, hundreds of executioners and putrefied corpse transporters were promoted to become Revolutionary Guards, interrogators, mayors, retribution executors, and prison wardens. When Dad called out with his cheery morning voice that it was time for tea with kondak bread, he was sure Mum wasn't going to forget her latest craze. That's why he added hastily, "If there is one..."